What's up guys, Steve Buzogany, Philly's real estate agent. Today we're talking row homes, the backbone of Philadelphia. They're charming, they're historic, and sometimes they surprise you in ways you didn't really ask for. So let's break down the hidden costs of inspections and the gotchas of that most first-time homebuyers run into. Here's the thing, don't worry, I'll keep this simple and painless. So let's start with the age factor. Here's what you need to know about right away. Most Philly row homes are about 100 years old, and truth be told, they do show their age sometimes. So there's old wiring, there's old plumbing, floors that are like a little bit slanted, like kind of like this. So kind of looks like I'd have a rough night out in the old city, which, you know, that part, totally normal. All of that is very, very normal. So what does this mean for you? You might run into some knob and tube wiring. You might see cast iron plumbing. Both of these things can be fixed. They're just things you want to be aware of before you move in, that's all. Next, let's talk about foundations and the structural stuff. Row homes literally lean on each other. So sometimes they kind of shift around over time, then they settle. You may see cracks in the basement, doors that don't really fully shut because of the shifting, a little moisture down in the basement. All of this is all normal stuff for row homes, but still worth paying attention to. Structural repairs can get obviously pricey, so you want to just make sure there's someone to take a look at it in the early stages if you see signs of these. The next part is one of our favorite parts, the roof. It's the maintenance that nobody ever warned you about, basically. It's kind of the big one that most first-time buyers miss. And with row homes, they're flat roofs, and Philly is obsessed with flat roofs. And flat roofs, they're obsessed with maintenance. They last about 15 years, and sometimes they do collect water if they're not pitched properly. Sometimes they even have skylights, and if you have skylights, they tend to leak even if it's a sunny day. So yes, always get a roof inspection. Even if the seller says, oh yeah, it's new, it's totally new, don't worry about it. Cool, show me the receipt. Number 4, we're gonna talk about party walls. Your neighbor is now basically your roommate. So in a row home, you do share walls with your neighbors, and sound is also shared. So if they love salsa music, congratulations, now you love salsa music too. Which, by the way, that's normal, to be able to hear your neighbors through the wall sometimes. But if you wanna make sure those walls, you just wanna make sure that those walls are solid masonry and not like some thin DIY drywall job. The 5th area I'm gonna talk about is the narrow staircase. That's like the reality check that hits everybody. So let me be really straightforward. The couch is probably not gonna make it up the stairs. So measure everything. The stairs, the width of the stairs, the landings, how much room you have to turn, the doorways, the width of the doorways, without the door if you have to. Don't ever assume anything's just gonna fit. This is Philly. These houses were built before sectionals were even a thing. The next section I'm gonna talk about is the mechanical systems. You might see like a boiler that's older than your grandmother, an electrical system that pretty much needs a boost, or like those clay sewer lines that have been patiently waiting to just retire and be done. This doesn't mean that the house is bad, it just means that you want to have a good inspection and make sure you know what's going on. So actually, speaking of inspections, the inspections that you should never skip, there's actually 4 big ones. Obviously, one is the general home inspection, an inspection of the roof, a termite inspection, because your mortgage company might ask for that, and then the MVP of Philly home inspections is the sewer scope. The sewer scope is like kind of like a colonoscopy for your house, and nobody wants it, but it does prevent disaster, so do not skip it. The section 8 we're gonna talk about is the gotchas that most buyers never really see or expect. Gotcha number 1, the roof deck is not guaranteed. Permits are most certainly required to put a roof deck on. Engineering is required, and sometimes the city just says no for the fun of it. Gotcha number 2, drainage issues in the backyards and the alleyways. Row homes don't always have a great natural runoff. Making sure that the flat roof is properly pitched matters. Gotcha number 3, historic districts have rules. If you're in Society Hill or Queen Village, you can't just slap on any window. You have to look historic, which is codename for more expensive. Gotcha number 4, DIY renovations. If the tiles look crooked, the drywall seams are looking really wild, if you feel like the place was renovated on TikTok Live, trust your instincts. I always say how a person does one thing is how a person does all things. If you see crap craftsmanship, then it's probably crap behind the walls too. Section number 9 we're gonna wrap up with is how much should you budget for surprises. Here's a simple rule of thumb. Plan on saving 1 to 2% of your home's value every year for maintenance. If you want to keep I would actually also suggest that you keep another $5,000 to $10,000 set aside for those welcome to homeownership surprises. Trust me, you'll thank yourself for that. All right, guys, that's the rundown. Row homes are amazing, they're iconic, and they offer some of the best value in the city. You just want to buy one with your eyes wide open. If you're thinking about buying your first Philly row home, reach out anytime. I'm here to help you make this process simple, smart, and stress-free. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.